Y'all, I never knew it to be possible to feel so many emotions at the same time. I feel prepared. I feel calm. I equally feel a little nervous. Just, I also feel hopeful. Like, so many things. So many emotions running through my body right now and running through my head, and I'm getting ready to go. But I just wanted to record this because I feel like I'm gonna be in a place where I'm gonna share so much more than I ever have throughout the process of me being with my husband, who is incarcerated. And we've gone through a lot of things together. We've experienced a lot of trials, but also triumphs. And I feel like that's going to continue to be our story. That's going to continue to be true in all that we do, in our journey as husband and wife. But I'm making this video because eventually I'll share it, and I will continue to be bold and be brave and talk about this because it's a part of our testimony. I knew a long time ago and have had faith that this was never going to be our forever life. This was never going to be the end of our story. MCR Norfolk was not going to continue to house my husband because I always believe my husband will be free. But God had to free him mentally first. God had to see him through to this day and beyond for him to know miracles happen, and he's doing it for him. He's doing it for me. He's doing it for my son, for our son, Jarrell. He's doing it for families that have experienced what we have. And it's gonna all glorify God. And I wanna say this before I get going. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, something that I feel like God is really helping me understand more on a deeper level is that people hide. Because I hide sometimes too. People hide behind the things they want you to see and what they want you to know and what they don't. Unless they humble themselves, unless they really share more, there's no way God can do more in our lives if we continue to hide behind what we want people to see and not the reality of all that we are, and embody that. Yes, my life is not perfect. Yes, I'm not perfect, but I've made so much progress. And God is such a merciful and gracious God that he saw me through each and every stage and phase of my life, and he will continue to do that. I'm not afraid to be a hot mess, because you know what? I believe what the word says, and it says that he turns beauty from ashes. From ashes. Can you imagine ashes? You know what ashes look like. But he turns that into beauty. Can y'all believe that? Do you believe that? I believe that. And I'm a walking, talking testimony, and I'll continue to be. And for every single day of my life, I will give God praise in this way, because it's a miracle that I'm even alive. Literally from my birth, but just throughout my life. It's a miracle that you're still here, that you're still living, you're still breathing. And if that is the case, you have so much purpose inside of you. Don't hide it. Don't be ashamed. Give it to God. You do your best, and God does the rest. I'm showing up with the love of God in me, within me, all around me, believing, hoping, praying, and continuing to just be a vessel used by God is a blessing in and of itself. It's the greatest thing that I could ever do on earth. And I know it's going to go well. Everything is well. Everything is going to go well. And we will continue to walk in favor, blessings, everything that God has in store. I've been listening to a lot of worship, and there's a song that I'm blanking on right now, but they basically say, like, can you imagine with all the faith in the room how God moves? And I do believe that. I do believe that. So I'm going to go in faith and walk by faith and not by sight, and continue to believe in God with all my might, because when I first started with my husband, it was like a mustard seed, but then we watered it and it's grown and grown and grown, and I just know, and I thank God. I'm thanking him now in advance, because that's what we do, because we are in expectation that good things are going to happen. But I gotta go. Bye, guys. Hello, everybody. So before I share what I really want to share about today and the day, I want to read you 3 John 1 verse 2 through 4. It says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. For I rejoice greatly when brethren came and testified of the truth that is in you, just as you walk in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth." I feel like the truth prevailed today. And it prevailed in such a way that was manifested in my husband's parole hearing. I can't really describe anything other than it was a great hearing. My husband did extremely well. But more than that, it was a testimony for the goodness and great God that I love and I serve. And I feel like I'm maybe not visually, rejoicing on this camera right now, but inside, I feel like even driving back, I'm rejoicing. I'm rejoicing because I'm not rejoicing in myself. I'm not rejoicing in outcomes that are in the hands of a selected few. I'm rejoicing because of I have the joy of the Lord. And it's interesting the way God's provision works and what he gives us, and the fruits of the Spirit, one of them being joy, in times that would intimidate us. But something I really believe is that goodness prevailed today. And the goodness of God prevailed in a situation that possibly wouldn't have if there weren't so many people praying or so many people supporting And so many people just outpouring their generosity of truth. And I feel like today my husband and I and our family, his family, and even the victim's family, we were seen by God. And it was a miraculous and extraordinary, supernatural time as my husband is requesting parole. And now while we wait, something that also comes to mind as far as the word of the Lord is like, while you wait, it's not supposed to be easy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but with God, it's possible. And so I think that as an expert overthinker, I probably have some battles ahead of me, and so does my husband, when it comes to fighting off doubt and fighting off, any evil and ill will words spoken over our lives. But at the end of the day, this is how I fight my battles. This is how I do it. And with God, again, anything is possible. I think that there are many seasons of my life, and this is not going to be any different, that I got to continue to believe. I got to continue to believe that God sees everything. And he goes before us, and he's for us. And he's not against us. And he loves us. He loves us so much. And I think that for a long time, I have that love, and I've had that love. There was a time in my life that I didn't know the love of God either. And so my husband knows the love of God now. And I just feel like this is just an additional layer of how he knows God loves him. And we're praying for the most favorable outcome. We're praying that our family is able to stay together. But no matter what, we are a unit. We are unified, and we are blessed immensely in Jesus Christ. And no matter what, everything truly will always work together for good. And God has our future right in the palm of his hands. And yeah, that's what I got. If you are a loved one who's preparing your loved one for parole, if you are a loved one who's preparing to attend your significant other or loved one's parole hearing, I think the biggest thing that I'm taking away from all this is to stay organized. It took a lot of organizing to get people to the hearing, to share out the information for people to join virtually, to get the support letters. And not everybody has a team behind them. I understand that. Gratefully, we did. And there is an organization called the Massachusetts Parole Prep Parole Prep Partnership. Words, it's super like but I will add that information because it was a form that I had to complete. My husband informed me about it, and we were looking into it, and it was a great resource for us. And while it's not representation in the parole hearing, something I've learned through this process is you don't need representation. It's nice to have it. It's good to have it, but you don't need it. And they do want to hear from you, from your loved one. And yeah, I think like this is just opening my mind to like, how do we provide the resources for families to know what to expect in this time, like where to go, even coordinating rides. I realized like thankfully everybody had a way to get there, but like sometimes I think, what if people don't, because it's already a barrier for access for visitation, let alone a parole hearing that's not anywhere close by either. So it just has me thinking about a lot of things that I pray that, you know, I can build and put together and help somebody. But until then, be well and God bless you. Bye.